sounds like I'm online, so we'll just spend 5 minutes relaxing, stretching, moving, and then we'll begin the class in about 4 minutes time. We have people in the class. Excellent. Us. A few more moments, we'll make a start. Is my audio picking up? Can you hear me when I speak? Can Jean-Philippe Peugeot from France say yes? Matt Payne is also watching. Excellent. Right, the time looks like it is 5 p.m. UK time, 6 p.m. Central European time, so we'll make a start in class. We shall first bow in, feet together, César. Just a straight bow to the dojo, dojo ni rei. Rei, grits. Rei. So just before we start, make sure that you have enough area to train in, you're comfortable and happy with where you're training, and that everything that you do is safe. If I say to do something, then only do it so if it's safe. We're going to keep the class very central to my camera. We're going to do some basic punching. We're not going to be moving around and doing any huge movements. I'll every now and then approach the camera to see if the comments are working, and everybody seems to be there, which is good. So we'll just start off with a little bit of a warm-up. So just hands on hips, working with the head, just forward and backwards. Left ear, right ear, right shoulder, left shoulder, semicircles back, semicircles front. Just roll your shoulders forward. We're going to do some punching today, so we need to make sure our arms are ready. Roll the shoulders backwards. Left shoulder backwards, right shoulder forwards. change. Shake your arms out. Right arm across, just stretch. And left arm across, stretch. Shake the arms out. Just roll the hips round, circles. And change. And back again. And relax. Very. You're into ready position. You can see my feet there. We're just going to have our heels underneath our hips and our feet pointed slightly outwards with our legs just off lock. So straighten your legs, tighten your quads, then relax them. Just do a quick check, make sure your feet are pointing out slight angles and the heels are just underneath your hips. From that position, left hand out, tate shituke, right hand goes on the hip, igute, left arm out straight. Just some very basic punching. Chokazuki chudan, just to count, nice and slow, feel the technique. Each, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, shich, hach, ku, ju. Okay, I just want you to put the weight onto your left foot, pick your right foot up, put your weight on your right foot, put your left foot up. Weight evenly distributed on the heels, the balls and the toes of your feet. Bend your knees, straighten your legs again. Simple Chokazuki. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, shich, hach, ku, ju. So I want you to put your mind in the feeling you have on the floor. So your heels, the ball of your feet and your toes all in contact with the floor. Feel the weight in your feet. Feel a connection to the ground. We're punching with our arms, but I want your mind in your feet. I'll turn sideways so you can see the next. Your right hand on your hip, your left hand behind your back. On the first count, Urozuki. Second count, Tatazuki. Third count, Fuzuki, Chokazuki. On the way back, bend at the elbow, turn the palm. Third count, pull to the hip. Final count, twist. So it's ich, ni, san. Ich, ni, san. Ich, ni, san. Ich, ni, san. Urozuki, each slight angle up. Tatazuki, knee, almost full extension, but with vertical fist. And then a final rotation of the wrist, Chokazuki, san. First count, fold at the elbow. Don't pull back, just fold at the elbow. Each. And push back, knee. And then twist and squeeze, san. So, Urozuki, slight upward punch. Tatazuki, extend or Chokazuki, rotate. Fold at the elbow each. Pull back to the hip. Twist and squeeze. Ich, ni, san. Ich, ni, san. Change arms. Exactly the same on the other side. Checking the comments we've got going on. And right hand behind your back, left hand on your hip. First punch, Urozuki, just so the elbow just gets to the end, just leaves the hip. Tatazuki, extend the arm. The arm's almost full extended, but we have a vertical fist. Twist on impact for Chokazuki. Then fold the elbow as the palm goes vertical. Push back onto the hip and then rotate and squeeze for the igete. Ich, ni, san. Ich, ni, san. Ich, ni, san. Ich, ni, san. Ich, Chokazuki, right hand on the hip. We combine those together. So the first count, make a fist actually. First count, bend the elbow and Urazuki. Second count, Tatazuki, pull to the hip. Third count, rotate and rotate. First count, Urazuki, bend at the elbow. Second count, tate and pull to the hip. Third count, rotate, rotate. Just let reps them out. Ich, ni, san. 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 The final punch should just be rotation and rotation. So Tatazuki shouldn't be too bent. There shouldn't be a big movement for the punch. It should just be rotation and extension. Balanced rotation and pull. Pull and rotate, push and rotate. Push, pull, rotate. Ich, ni, san. Ich, ni, san. Ich, ni, san. Ich, ni, san. Yummy. And I relax. Just shake the arms out, shake your wrists out. We're going to be carrying on punching for the whole session. So get used to punching. As a beginner, as some of your lower grades, you'll be doing this slowly and technically and watching. As a senior grade, you'll be doing this faster and harder and watching your technique. And if you're an instructor, you'll be doing this even faster, even harder, with even more observation on your movement. Whether you're squeezing your little finger to keep your fist tight, or whether you're actually pulling in that elbow at the very end and allowing that shoulder to pull down. Watch your technique as you're punching, but keep your mind in your feet. Heel, ball, toe. It's your connection with the ground. If you don't have a connection with the ground, it's really difficult to generate power in your punch. You can use your arm, but you can't use anything else. So, mind in your feet, watch your punches, and allow your technique, speed and power relative to your grade. Good. So, ready position, heels underneath your hips, feet 30 or so degrees out, lock your legs straight and then relax as they come off lock. So your knees are not bent, your legs are relaxed. Left hand, tate shituke, right hand on your hip. Basic, simple Chokazuki. Yeah. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, shich, hach. Okay, from there, grip the floor with your big toe, squeeze the floor, feel your knees slightly bend as you do that. Tighten up your glutes, tighten up your quads, tighten up your abs, your obliques, pecs, traps, everything squeezed and relax. Every time we punch now, squeeze at the very end to finish your technique and then relax. Punching slowly and then squeezing at the very end. Punching slowly and squeezing at the very end. Ich, ni, san, shi, go. You should feel your whole body moving as you tense every single muscle. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ruk, shich, hach, and relax. Same again, mind in your feet. Weight on the heels and the balls and the toes of your feet. Lock your legs, relax the knees. Left hand out, tate shituke, right hand on your hip. This time we're going to breathe Take a breath in through your nose. As you breathe out, and close the breath as you finish. Breath in through the nose. Breathe out. In. Breathe in. And out. So, this time, completely relax your body, no tension in your heart, no tension anywhere, just breathing. This time, breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth. At the very end of your technique, tense everything. But until then, it's just what you did, relax breathing. Nice and slow, each. And relax. So I count, then I breathe in, then I breathe out, then I tense, then I relax. Knee. Sam. She. Go. She. And relax. Again, put your mind in your feet. Your feet should be stuck to the floor now. Weight on the heels, then the balls, then the toes, so your weight is complete on all 3 points on your feet. Legs locked straight and relax. Hips nice and square and relaxed. Left hand out, right hand on your hip. We've done the movement of the punch, 3 stages, going out and coming back in. We've done some breathing, so you're breathing in and then out. As you finish the technique, you tense. All different aspects of the punch. Now we'll do some timing. So, we were going to do 3 punches. Sambonzuki. First punch, Jodan. Second punch, Chudan. Third punch, Chudan. The rhythm and timing is going to be Jodan, pause, Chudan, Chudan. So it's 2 Chudans after another with no pause, full punches. And we start with the Jodan punch with a pause. So, Sambonzuki. Each. Knee. Full punch, all 3 punches. Sam. Shi. Go. Rook. Shich. Hatch. And relax a second. So, we now add the breathing and the rhythm and the timing, as well as the technique and the tension. So, just slowly. Sambonzuki will be breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and tense and relax. Breathe in through the nose. First Chudan goes out and tenses, and as you relax, the second one's already going out to finish. Jodan. Chudan. So there's no breath in for the Chudans. Breath in through the nose. Jodan. Breath in again. Breath out. Relax, breath out. To the second one. Sambonzuki with breath and tension at the end, relaxation in the middle. Sambonzuki, ni. San. Shi. Go. feet. Heels, ball, toe. Lock the quads, relax. Good posture, good presentation. We now add in some hip movement. Tateshuki, left hand, right hand on the hip. Still Sambonzuki. We'll be relaxed and slow to start with. We're still doing the 3-stage punch. We're still doing Sambonzuki with timing. Now we add in some hip movements. First punch, Jodan, hip square. Second punch, Chudan. Let the hips come through. So your left hip is with your left punch. Second punch, Chudan, square the hips up again. So Sambonzuki becomes Jodan. Sorry, Jodan square. First Chudan. 45 then square. So Sambonzuki. Knee. San. Shi. Go. And yummy. And I relax. So very quickly we've gone through, starting with your mind, putting your mind in your feet and your connection to the ground. We've done some basic punching technique. Again, this is just what I'm doing today, and it's just practice. There's loads of different ways of punching. This is what we're doing today. We've had our tension at the end, where we're squeezing everything at the end of the technique, and then relaxing, squeeze and relax. We've done the breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth, closing the mouth at the end as we tense. We've done timing, so we're having a rhythm, Jodan, Chudan, Chudan. Yeah? But all those punches are finishing. We're not shortening any of the punches, they're all 4 punches. And then we've done some hip movement, Jodan square, 45 and square again. It's an unusual hip movement, but for Sambonzuki, it finishes your punch. It stops you from doing a quick punch and getting to the third one. Yeah? All different aspects. Yeah? We'll just do those all together a little bit quicker and do a couple of reps, and then we'll change. Left hand out, right hand on the hip. Sambonzuki. Yeah? We'll just rep out a few with speed, with power, but I want the Sambonzuki to be first punch, Jodan, hip square, breathing as you go, tense at the end. The next 2 punches, the rhythm, there's no breath in. You start with a breath, breathe out, hips go 45 degrees, don't allow that knee to come in, keep that leg strong. Straight away into the second Chudan. So it goes. You can see the hips going left and right, hand make showman, arm extended, finishing the full punch. So left hand out, right hand on the hip, let's just rep. Sambonzuki. Each. Knee. San. Shi. Go. Rook. Shich. Hach. Yummy. And I'll relax. So just warming up the arms, getting the arms moving, getting the hips moving, getting the tension moving, getting the breathing all working. Yeah? Starting to make things happen in the body. Yeah? We've used basic punches, 4 punches, because that's what we're used to. I've used Sambonzuki, 3 punches, because that's what you're used to. we've used the standard Jodan, Chudan, Chudan, because that's what we're used to. We've finished doing speed and power, which is what we're used to. So, this time I'm going to change it slightly. So, ready position, heels are underneath the hips, feet are slightly out at an angle. What I want you to do is put your weight on the balls of your feet, take your heels off, push your heels out, and drop your weight back on. So your feet now are pointing forward and are slightly wider than your hips. If you really want to put some stress, then just push your heels slightly out, depends on your knees. You then bend your knees. So you now, instead of having a relaxed knee, you have a bent knee. You can have inside tension, outside tension, do whatever tension you want. I just want you bending your knees, feet straight or heels out, whatever feels comfortable for your knees. Don't let your knees collapse in. Make sure your knees are facing forward above your toes. Right hand at your hip, left hand out in front. We're going to do Sambonzuki. Jodan punch will be a full Chokazuki. The Chudan punch will be Chokazuki. Second Chudan will be Urazuki. So it's a simple Sambonzuki. You're in a slightly different stance. Still breathing, still with speed and power, but different punches. Chokazuki, Tatazuki, Urazuki. Sambonzuki. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Ruk. Shich. Hach. And yeah. So you should have felt a full straight line punch, everything tight. The next two punches, 1, 2. Different distances. They should feel different, at the same time having exactly the same feeling of connection with the ground. Slightly different stance, slightly different punches, but you should steal the propriocept. Feel your body. You should have weight in your heel, weight in the ball, weight in the toe. That should be in contact with the ground. That's where your mind is. These arms are just doing whatever's necessary at the time. Okay? That was done, different punches. This time we'll do different hips. So, ready position, heels underneath your hips, feet degrees out, weight onto the balls of your feet, push your heels out, heels back on the ground, and then bend your knees. Allow your knees to go over your toes, don't let them come in, don't try and push them out, allow them over your toes. If you are comfortable with your heels pushing out slightly, fair enough, but you need to keep your knees bent. Left hand out, right hand on your hip. Chokazuki, full punches. Sambonzuki will be 3 full punches. Yeah? But the first punch will go 45 degrees. Second punch will go square. Third punch, 45 degrees. Which means the next time we Sambonzuki, we're going all the way through. Then square, then across. Now this one would mean that your rhythm, you're likely to cut the second punch short. Don't. Full extension on the second punch. Allow the hip movement. Square hips, extended arm. And then back again for the third punch. Don't allow the second punch to go short. This hip movement with this arm means it will want to go short. Don't allow it. Left hand out. Bend the knees. Uichi-dachi. Same breathing, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Yeah. Same timing. 1, 2, 3. Full punches this time, but now with hips. Sambonzuki. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Ruk. Shich. Hach. Yummy. So, slightly different hip movement. Hopefully you felt you had to think about your arm going for that second punch as your hips snap square before they went through again. And the first punch, massive hip movement, your stance would have been slightly wobbling. That's where you need to focus on your feeling, mind, connection to the ground by your body. Weight in the heels, weight in the balls, weight in the toes, sink into the ground. If you do that, keep your knees pointing forward, even from full handmade through to full handmade the other side, you will get a strong foundation to be able to execute the punching. Mind in the contact with the floor. Connect to the ground by your body. Okay, next one. Yoi, ready position. Heels are underneath your hips, feet are pointing out. Heels out, bend the knees, oichi dash. Make sure those heels, the knees don't collapse in or push out, they go over your feet. So they're aligned, but keep the bend. The whole time we're doing this, posture is straight. Back is straight, we're not losing our posture, we're not leaning back, we're keeping our posture as we drop into the stance. Down we go. Left hand out, right hand on the head. Timing, hips this time will be square, no movement of the hips. Timing has changed. This is now going to be, let's do Sambonzuki with full Jodan, Tatazuki, Urazuki. Full Jodan, Tatazuki, Urazuki. But let's add in a different rhythm. Let's do Jodan, Chudan, Chudan, Jodan, Chudan, Chudan. So we switch the rhythm and we've got 3 different punches. Left hand out, Tateshtuke, right hand on the hip. Oichi dash, drop your stance, make sure your hips square and your knees are over your feet. Straight line, left hand out. Last time through we'll have a quick stretch and a breath. Remember the breathing, remember the timing. Sambonzuki. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Ruk. Shich. Just relax and shake it out, get a drink if you have one, if you want one, stretch off. I'll just check the comments, make sure we haven't got any questions. We seem to be okay. So just stretch off slightly. We're 30 minutes in, halfway through the session. Take a breath if you need, take a drink if you want. Have a think about what we said. Feel free to send questions through to Martin if you have any further questions. Just shake your arms out, nice and loose. Take your legs off, nice and loose. As we're all in the session now and everybody who's here is here, I'd like to point out that I owe an awful lot of my karate progression to my current sensei, Sensei Rick Jackson, teaching out of Leicester in the UK, all part of Scott Lalney's HDKI. Sensei Jackson has a meditation session that will be occurring with the HDKI, which will be occurring this week. Look on the website for details. There are always excellent sessions coming from Rick Jackson's dojo and his other excellent instructors. I believe we have Dr. Sensei Jean Wong and another doctor, Sensei Matt Bain, also doing sessions in the coming weeks. So I highly recommend them. Alright. Yoi. Ready position. Now, from here, we're just going to keep Shizentai ready position, heels underneath your hips, feet slightly out, legs locked and then relaxed. Left hand out, right hand on your hip. It's Sambonzuki, but it's not Zuki, Sambonzuki. So we're doing blocking. So the first block is Jodan and Yuki. Second block, Churan Uchuki. Third block, Churan Barai. So we're not actually going Jokeidan, we're going Churan. So it's Jodan, Churan, Churan. Exactly the same rhythm to start for Sambonzuki. 1, 2, 3. Same breathing. In and out. In, out, out. So left hand tate shituki, right hand on your hip. Slowly to begin with. Ich. Ni, san. Ich. Ni, san. H. Ni, san. Ich. Ni, san. So, rhythm now. I'll count once, 3 techniques. Remember the breathing. In. Remember the rhythm. 1, 2, 3. Relaxation, tension, relaxation, tension, relax, tension, relax. Left hand out, right hand on the hip. Sambonzuki. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Rook. Shich. Hutch. And relax. So exactly the same rhythm as you done before, but the techniques are completely different. The techniques are different, it should make no difference to what your mindset of carrying out 1, 2, 3 with breath and tension. Good rhythm, good techniques. They're basic techniques, you've all done them, we're just doing them slightly differently. Put your mind in your connection with the ground and just do the techniques. We'll do some hips with them, change it up a bit. Shizentai. Heels underneath your hips, feet out, left hand out on your hip, right hand pull back. Lock your legs, relax the knees. And Yuki. Pull the hips back. Uchuki, hips square. Churanbare, hips 45. Which means your next Yuki, your hips are going all the way through. Then you're squaring your hips up, and then you're pushing your hip back again. Don't allow your legs to lock, don't allow your knees to collapse. Feel the ground, feel your posture, feel your breath, and just allow the techniques now with the hips. Left hand out, right hand on your hip. Do slowly to begin with. Sambonzuki, Jodan, Chudan, Chudan, and Yuki, Uchuki, Churanbare. Ich. Knee. San. Shi. Go. Rook. Shich. Hatch. And I relax. So just relax. So you should feel your hips are moving, your feet are in contact with the ground, your breath is occurring, and naturally as you breathe out the technique, the tension is occurring at the end of the breath. It doesn't matter if you're punching, if you're blocking, if you're punching differently. The technique doesn't matter. The technique should find its way. If you're in a kumite situation, the technique shouldn't be premeditated. I'm going to do this punch. It should be a punch which lands, and then everything connects because that's the correct distance, because that's the correct punch. Or as we did with a session last night, as the punch happens, it turns into a block because that's what's needed, and everything is connected, and therefore it works. Breathing, body, connection, mind. You're in position. Shizentai, feet underneath. Just turn your heels out. Bend your knees. Oichidachi. Heels out if you can, but don't allow the knees to go anywhere. The knees should be directly over the toes and pushing forward. Left hand out. So, let's go back. Sambonzuki. We're punching again. Let's go for a first time through Sambonzuki. Jodan, Judan, Judan, hip square, normal rhythm. Sambonzuki. Each. Knee. Let's add a hip. Let's go Hanmei, Shomen, Hanmei. Sambonzuki, same timing. Knee. Okay, this time, hip square, let's block. Adyuki, Uchuki, Chudan Barai. Same rhythm. Each. Knee. Let's go back to punching. Let's go Chokazuki, Tatsuki, Urazuki. Same rhythm. 1, 2, 3. Breathing, tension, all in Uichidachi. Sambonzuki. Each. Knee. Let's go normal Chokazuki, all 3 punches, normal rhythm. Each. Knee. Okay, this time round. Let's do bend the knees in Uchidachi, focus the mind in the ground. Any combination of 3 punches, 3 blocks, as long as it's Sambonzuki, don't care, but it can be any rhythm, any timing, any punches. Sambon, whatever we want to do. Each. Knee. And all relax. So that last time round, you should have found those 3 techniques just went out. It doesn't matter what the techniques were, they just went out, and they went out as correct techniques. They didn't go as half techniques, they were incomplete techniques, they were full. But it didn't matter what they were, because your mind was in your connection with the ground, and you had your rhythm, which you were used to, and you just did the techniques, and you breathed, and you contracted, everything worked. So hopefully, your 3 techniques didn't matter what they were, they all happened, and they all worked together. That's what we're looking for. connection, and then the appropriate techniques as and when needed. Oh yeah, now relax. Just do a quick time check. Apologies for not answering some of the questions. I seem to be going flying through, and because I'm on my iPhone I can't really see. But I am happy to answer questions afterwards if needed, so no problems. So we'll just finish the last 15 minutes off with a very basic simple dachi kata, and we'll play around with the rhythm and the timing and the hips, etc. on this one. So, yoi, ready position. This time we're going to step out into kibidachi. We're going to have our left hand out, right hand on a hip. We'll do this very slowly to start with. We go Sambonzuki, Chodan, Chudan, Chudan. We're then going to go head looks to the right, hands prepare for Geidan Barai, right heel pulls into Furudachi, drop your stance, Geidan Barai. Next count, right stays exactly where it is, the left heel pushes to straighten the leg as the left hip comes round, Chokazuki Chudan. 45-degree punch. Both feet should be pointing 45 degree. Next move, feet stay where they are, hand prepares, and your hip goes to hand me as you Yuki. If you want to do leg straight, if you want to do leg bent, I don't mind, it's the hip that must come back. Then dropping, as your left hand comes out, Chokazuki Chudan. Zenkutsu. Head goes over left shoulder. Hands prepare for Geidan Barai. Rotate on the balls of your feet. Through Kibidachi. Through Furudachi. Pushed into Hanmei Zenkutsu Geidan Barai. Again, feet 45 degrees. Then hip square. Push through. Punch. Chokazuki Chudan. Head to the front. Kibidachi to the front. Right hand to the front. That is our dachi kata that we're going to learn, then practice, and then change. So, other side, Sambonzuki, each. Next count, head to the left, hands prepare, left heel pulls in, Geidan Barai, Furudachi. Right leg doesn't move, just the left heel pulls in. Now the left leg doesn't move, the right heel pushes out. Hip square, Chokazuki Chudan. Arm prepares, Yuki, Hanmei. Again, doesn't matter, I don't care about the leg, as long as the hip is Hanmei. Dropping down, pushing hip square, Shomen for Chokazuki Chudan. Head over shoulder, prepare for Geidan Barai, rotate on the balls of your feet, through Kibidachi, into Zenkutsu, Hanmei Geidan Barai. Chokazuki Chudan. And Kibidachi center, left hand center. So that is our dachi kata. We're just going to go through that a few times. Adjust your stance, make sure Kibidachi is correct. Bending the knees, over the toes, nice deep stance, good posture. Left hand out, right hand on your hip. So a bit quicker and a bit more to count this time. Sambonzuki, each. Head, hands, Geidan Barai dropping into Furudachi stance. Knee. Pushing your left heel out, Chokazuki Chudan. Thumb. Prepare, and then Hanmei, Yuki. Shi. Square your hips into Shomen, punching and dropping, Chokazuki Chudan. So, head, hands, prepare, rotate balls of your feet, Geidan Barai, Zenkutsu Hanmei. Each. Chokazuki Chudan. Knee. Center. Sambonzuki. Each. Head, hands, stance. Furudachi Geidan Barai. Each. Chokazuki Chudan. Knee. Yuki Hanmei. Thumb. Chokazuki Chudan. Shi. Head, hands, turn, balls of your feet. Gerambarai. Each. Chokazuki Chudan. Knee. Center. Yame. And relax. So that's the Dachi Kata. It's very simple. It's not complicated. It's easy to remember. The techniques are simple. We will do it now smoothly to count. Sorry. Yoi. Kibadachi. Tateshituke. Sambonzuki is 1 count. Each. Gerambarai. Chudan Chokazuki. Agyuki. Thump. Chokazuki. Shi. Gerambarai. Go. Chokazuki. Chi. Center. Sambonzuki 1 count. Each. Gerambarai. Ni. Chokazuki. Thump. Agyuki. Shi. Chokazuki. Go. Gerambarai. Ru. Chokazuki. Chi. Hey. Center. Adjust your stance. Make sure you're straight line. Kibadachi. Heels, knees, bent. Good posture. Left hand out, right hand on your head. So this time, speed and power. 1 count, 1 technique. I'll go through it slowly so you can just watch. Then we'll just rep it in speed. We start with Sambonzuki with the correct rhythm. Then the timing, head, hands, stance, Fudodachi. And then it's timing. Push your heel to slide to punch out. Then the feet are on the floor, nothing moves. Feet are flat, knees doesn't move. Agyuki must be hip. Chokazuki must be hip. Head, hands, balls the feet. Must be in hanmi. And then push to finish kiai. That's it. Yeah? Simple, easy. Let's rep it out. Speed and power. First count, Sambonzuki. Connect with the floor, heel, ball, toe. Stance. Technique is just what we did before. Tension, tension, tension. Breathing. Just from Kibadachi. Sambonzuki. Each. Exactly the same breathing. All we're doing is going into Fudodachi. Ni. Chokazuki Chudan. Right leg does not move, it's just the hip and the leg. Push the heel, push the hip. Chudan. Go. Agyuki, feet rooted to the floor. Ni. Chokazuki Chudan. Gerambarai, rotate on the balls of the feet. Chokazuki Chudan Kiai. Center. Sambonzuki. Gerambarai. Ni. Chokazuki. Shi. Agyuki. Chokazuki. Gerambarai. Chokazuki Chudan. Center. Right. Just a count. No talking, just rep. Sambonzuki. Each. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Yep. Hatch. Hey. Sambonzuki. H. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Rup. Shi. Center. Combinations. Sambonzuki 1 count. Block and punch, 2nd count. Block and punch, 3rd count. Turn, block and punch, last count. Sambonzuki. Each. Ni. San. Center. Ich. Ni. San. Go. Hep. Center. And yeah. And I relax. So if your breathing is correct, you should be hot and sweaty from doing hard work. You should have ki-eyed loudly, but you shouldn't be out of breath. You shouldn't be panting if you've controlled your breath while you're doing the exercise. So, that's a very simple Dachikata. There we go. Just checking. All around the world. Very simple Dachikata. Doesn't matter what the techniques are. Your mind is in your feet. Your feet are connecting to the floor. Therefore, your Dachi is what's allowing your movement. Put your mind there. Doesn't matter if you're doing it to 1 count or 2 counts or doing something else. Makes no difference. Right, let's finish off with that Dachikata. However, the block will be Gedan Barai. The first punch, Chokazuki. Block will be Agiyuki. Next punch, Tatazuki. Block will be Gedan Barai. Final punch, Urazuki. 1 count Sambonzuki, 1 count block and punch, 1 count block and punch, 1 count block and punch. Good. Left hand out, right hand on the hip, keep it out, sink to that standstill. Straight away, Sambonzuki, speed and power. Ich. Block and punch. Ni. Should be tate. Next count, block and punch. Go! Next punch, Urazuki. And center. Sambonzuki. Ich. Block and punch. Ni. Block and punch. Go! Block and punch. This time, Urazuki, Tatazuki, Chokazuki. Timing is still the same. Ich, ni, san. Then any block, punch. Any block, punch. Any block, punch. Make it complicated, but it's really simple. Sambonzuki. Make sure we do Urazuki, Tatezuki, Chokazuki. Sambonzuki. Ich. Any block, full punch. Ni. Any block, Tatezuki. Any block, Urazuki. Center. Same. Urazuki, Tatsuki, Chokazuki, Sambonzuki. Ich. Any block, punch. Any block, Tatsuki. Any block, Urazuki. Center. Sambonzuki, any way you want, any punches, any timing, any rhythm, don't care. Sambonzuki. H. Block and counter. Ni. Block and counter. Block and counter. Center. Sambonzuki, anyhow you want. H. Block and counter. Block and counter. Block and counter. Center. Yummy. And I mix. Shake your legs off, shake your arms off. So you should have just done block and counter. You should have just done Sambonzuki. The techniques don't matter. The techniques will happen as they are the correct techniques for the correct moment. If you don't know lots of different techniques, you'll only do the one technique. If you're a senior grade training for years, you should have a myriad of different techniques that all happen. But they all happen at speed, with power, at the right time. We teach technique. This is your technique. We teach you the technique, and we teach you how to punch. The skill of punching is hitting something. Whether that's a heavy bag, a makarawa, or a person, whatever it is, it's hitting it and hitting it correctly. If the heavy bag is swinging and you've got a blindfold on, you just hit. And when you make contact, you've made contact. It should be a punch, not bounced off. That's your proprioception, that's your feeling, that's your connection. So my clock says it is exactly 6 o'clock. So we will do a very short bow and then I'll open up for a few questions before we sign off. So, Yoi, Cesar, feet together, left knee, right knee, Cesar. Just a short moment of mokusao, just to regain your composure. Half close your eyes, tip the tongue to the roof of your mouth, put your back straight, pull your chin in, left thumb, right hand, wrap your fingers around and just breathe. Mokusao. Yame. Dojo. Alright. Good. Yeah. Domo arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for Martin for inviting me to teach. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you got something from it. And I hope I get invited back in to another one. If you have questions, I have no idea how I'm going to answer them. But feel free to ask a question and I'll see if I can shout out. My pleasure. My pleasure, Goodrick. So we've had people from all around the world. Even Stephen Powell from JK Northern Ireland. Really around the world. Or across the water. My pleasure, Natalie. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, Stavros. My pleasure. I quite like having these thumbs up. Pleasure, Matthew. Okay, as people are starting to sign off, then I shall bring the session to an end. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd like to say thank you, Martin, for creating the whole environment and allowing us to teach this way. Much appreciated. Domo arigatou gozaimasu.